By two-time Australian Open champion Jim Curry, he's in good form, isn't he?
Well, Djokovic has really come out of the blocks nicely in this match. A quick break of serve over his Spanish opponent, Granollers, and very comfortable. Back to deuce. You know, Fitzy, a lot of the time when we come in early in this tournament, so early in the season, wondering what kind of form are these players going to be in, you know, as they come off the off-season and the rest period. Well, Djokovic really didn't have a rest period with Serbia lifting the Davis Cup title in December. He had very little time off, and while that maybe be tough mentally on him, game-wise, he is very sharp here.
Advantage. Djokovic.
He had really just probably a 10-day break and then got right back into training and down early for the Hopman Cup. Djokovic, and that preparation paying off here. Another breakpoint chance.
Yeah, Djokovic certainly in control at the moment in this first set. Novak Djokovic. Probably not a bad way to actually do it, Jim. Djokovic, if you have a late end to the year, you can come down, play the Australian Open, maybe look for a rest period early in the season.
Well, that's exactly what Roger Federer typically does, and takes about a month off or so after this tournament, and then gets going. And speaking of getting going, just courtside, we have Roger Rashid checking in with us.
I
think we have Roger Rashid. Roger, out there?
I am out there. I'm just a few bits of few raindrops coming down now. Well, that ball's sort of skidding through a little bit. But now you talked about Novak. Novak, since the US Open, making the final of the US Open, he's gone from strength to strength. He's actually elevated his game, and he knows he's had to come up with to Rafa and Roger, and he's hitting the ball through the air, boys, so much quicker than he was this time last year. He's a different player.
Well, one area where he's really picked it up, Raj, is in the service department. This time last year, he was really struggling, particularly with the second serve. His motion was a little bit different. He's made some minor adjustments to that, which I think have had major impact, and it's really paying off for him.
Definitely improved his technique on the serve. It's more of a natural throwing motion now, and it wasn't a year ago. It was, in fact, it was a pretty ordinary motion for a player of his caliber 12 months ago, and right now it looks really compact, and I like it. He's really hitting the ball off the middle of the strings here.
No, he looks very comfortable and confident. This time last year, I remember with the serve, he looked very mechanical. Looked like he was thinking a lot about the swing as opposed to just seeing the ball and hitting the ball, which is what the players need to be doing in moments of particularly of tension and pressure. No pressure so far for the number 3 seed. Djokovic off to a quick start, 5 love.
Djokovic leads 5 games.
The opponent of Djokovic tonight is serving right now Marcel Granollers from Barcelona in Spain. Oh. 24-year-old. Had most of his tennis and had most of his success on clay, but he's versatile. He's a good doubles player. He's had a career high ranking of 5 in doubles. Currently ranked 42 on the ATP Tour in singles. Just one spot worse off than his career high ranking of 41. Doesn't mind coming forward a bit though, Jim.
Well, with the doubles, certainly would have some time at the net during tournaments, and you're right, most of his damage has come on the clay. As you can see, he's kind of wiry, a lot like Novak in size, actually. These guys both about the same height, the same weight. But doesn't move with the strength, with the sureness of Djokovic. You know, Djokovic, you'll hear him screeching and sliding because he's accelerating and decelerating so quickly, so explosive. Oh, wow. I mean, that is explosive is the word on that backhand from Djokovic. And he's been picking a little bit on Granollers' forehand. Granollers has a lot of variety between the two swings. The forehand has a lot more cover on the ball, a lot more spin. The backhand is a flatter, more penetrating shot.
First time.
And like most clay quarters, he likes to get around and hit that when he can earlier. So you're seeing back explode line from time to time with his backhand to the forehand.
Well, the backhand side of Djokovic is arguably, in right-handers, you know, it may well be considered by some as the best backhand in the world. He defends so well out of that corner. It's compact. He's so accurate in attack off it. He's also got a good slice. It's two-handed, aggressive backhand he has down the line is very effective.
And don't forget about that shot. Yeah. The finesse, the variety in that backhand. He can beat you so many different ways. And now he's got himself into a set point to put a bagel on the Spaniard here.
His choice of shot is so good too, as great players are. You know, he saw Granollers back off after that shot, and there was plenty of room for the drop shot.
Now, one thing for the young players and the young at heart who want to get better, watch Novak. The way he attacks the ball when he sees a short ball. He is quick to recognize when he's got a weak shot and up on top of it to take it at the height of the bounce. Work.
Mr. Granollers challenging the call. Right far sideline. Ball was called fault.
All right. Take a look. Yeah. Nice pickup. So we'll get a replay, first serve. Both of these players have all of their challenges remaining in this set.
He needed that one, didn't he? Granollers, he wants to get on the board here. Not a good feeling if you go into the second set without your name up in lights at least once in terms of games.
Yeah, it's the first time these guys have played, Fitzy. So obviously, Granollers will have seen more Djokovic, but it's not helping him too much so far. Djokovic putting the beat down on him thus far.
Oh, good lob though from Granollers. He scrambles a game that'll make him feel better.
Pack your bags. Starting next Monday, it's Deal or No Deal's Las Vegas week. Every night, 2 lucky viewers will be jetting off to the home of entertainment, Las Vegas. After the tennis.
Perilously close, Granollers there of being bageled in the first set. So that'll be a small weight off his mind, at least. And if he doesn't happen to break here, at least he can start serving early in the second set. 5-1, Djokovic.
And you know, boys, the problem also for Granollers is his lack of movement once he has to play a shot and recover quickly. That's his deficiency. He's not a power mover. And Novak's hitting the ball so fast out here is not allowing him to get set.
sure that was the right choice that time, and it certainly wasn't at the top of his list in terms of execution. A long way back in the court there, a metre behind the baseline. That ball barely made halfway up the net.
That's a man who's pretty comfortable in this match, though, who's willing to take that chance.
Djokovic challenging the call, right baseline, ball was called in.
Well, he was right on top of this one for a half volley backhand, so he had a pretty good look at it. Let's see if he picked the right time for a challenge. Oh, yes. Absolutely. You wonder if Novak didn't have his foot in front of the line there and the linesman was blocked on it. Pretty likely that's the case. Tough call to pick up through a foot.
4-15.
So 2 set points here, and very confident looking number 3 seed so far tonight. Roger Rashid talking about the power off the baseline. That's the confidence. Who's
and serving well with confidence. 6-1, convincing in the first set. Novak Djokovic.
6-1.
It's a beautiful night here in Melbourne, and don't forget, when you're out and about, you can always catch Sevens coverage of the Australian Open free on your compatible Optus 3 mobile. Novak Djokovic certainly looked in control in that first set. He took it 6-1, and also cool, calm and in control of the 2 men calling the match for you, John Fitzgerald and Jim Courier.
Joe, we're just getting fired up. We're hardly calm and hardly in control, but we're going to do our best. You can see the weather is taking control at the moment. The roof is a little open, as you can see, and that will be closing momentarily. Fergus Murphy, the umpire, is on the court checking the lines. And
he does a little 2-step on those lines, doesn't he? He did that in Brisbane a few weeks ago, and Andy Roddick wasn't that convinced that that was a true test. But it's obviously coming down, and no point in playing when it's just a little greasy.
And Djokovic out with the chair umpire there, making a little joke with him.
Is he relaxed or what?
Are we going to wait and we're just going to...
The court's okay.
I know. In like 1 minute or 2, it's not going to be okay. So the risk of the game, maybe just wait for the roof to be closed.
I don't know exactly. I can ask about the roof. I don't know the answer to it. No. Okay, they're not closing.
So they're going to close the roof.
I'm not sure. I thought I heard Fergus say they're not closing it.
No, I think he indicated that he did, that they were going to close it. And they're going to play on. Novak walking out now. Seems like the rain may have subsided for the moment.
Well, Jim, they are going to close the roof. It's definitely, I think it's coming across. And it's interesting that they're going to play on. It's now sort of subsided a little bit out here as well. So the court's a little bit rough, guys. So it's, as you can see, there's a lot of felt that comes off the ball. So you can grip the court with a little bit of rain on it, or a little bit of dew on it. But the lines are the ones that everyone's concerned about.
Well, the roof is over both baselines, so as long as the players stay back there, there won't be any issue whatsoever.
The 2 main things that impressed me about Djokovic is, apart from his joking, is the backhand. I just love his backhand, but is his movement. Gee, he's a good athlete, and there's not too many high-ranked players around these days, or in many eras, that weren't great movers. He's a beauty.
And that point right there shows you why it's so important to have that explosive movement these days if you want to compete at the top levels. These points are so physical. They're covering so much ground. And the time between shots, by and large, is compressed in this era. You simply, the days of being a mediocre mover and being in the top 10 are over in the men's game. I think in the women's game, they're still maybe 4 or 5 years away from that being the case. If you're big enough and strong enough and powerful enough, you don't have to really play a ton of defense still in the women's game, but it's fast closing.
Well, case in point. Gee, that's impressive. The defensive skills of Djokovic to start with, the variety. The chip his opponent comes in, and the first step is so quick, and the execution at the end. What a wonderful point.
And already a couple of breakpoint chances for the 3 seed.
Look, Granollers isn't actually playing too badly. He's actually hitting the ball quite sweet, but his opponent, I mean, when you play these guys, as you said, you talked about their movement, the amount of balls they get back, then the way they accelerate and deal with a short ball, it's tough to play. It's just more mentally taxing that you're playing a big point on every occasion.
Oh, he's on fire so far in this match, Djokovic. He's got the early break.
So the first set, really a runaway for Novak, showing so much variety, the versatility, the lob, dipping in there. That was the first game of the match. Already firing on all cylinders, taking that ball at the top there, knocking the forehand off. There really wasn't much that Novak did wrong in that first set. He has come out gunning, and Raj is right. Granollers isn't playing a bad match. He's just outclassed thus far.
So keep in mind, he's ranked 42 in the world.
Yeah.
He's no slouch.
Well, I want to talk more about the evolution of the sport, and you know, people at home might be wondering, well, why do you have to move so much quicker these days than, you know, the era looked pretty physical when graphite rackets came into the sport, you know, in the 80s. The game was evolving there from the wood stages to the steel to the graphite. And to be sure, some of the evolution has been in the technology of the sport. There's no doubt about that. These rackets are lighter and they're stronger than they've been before. That allows the players to swing with higher RPMs. But the biggest difference has been that the string really grips the ball and allows these guys and girls to swing hard and keep the ball in play.
Yeah, because the string, generally speaking, imparts more spin.
It does. It absolutely does. This co-poly string that most of the players, if not all of them these days, are playing with some combination. But it's not just the technology. It's also been, as a result of that, it's also been the mentality of the players. Because they can control the ball now, it seems like everyone plays a big shot. Everyone can hit big serves. Everyone can generate power. Now, these guys are pretty light weight-wise for their height. They're long levers, and when you factor in long levers with this technology, you really can generate some good pop on the ball.
So you need to be quick to counteract that.
Well, you have to be quick to catch up to the ball, right? The split seconds extra that you had in the past are gone now. That's why these days the players all have to slide on the hard courts because they cannot afford to take one extra step and lose court position when they're out wide. Quick hold for Djokovic.
Djokovic leads 2 games to 1.
And you see some results on the outside courts. Swiss Wawrinka through over Gabashvili. And that's a bit of an upset there. Kulikova over Hantikova. 9-7 in the third. And then I think the last part of that, of the evolution of the sport, Fitz, is the height. The general height has grown over the years. The athleticism of the players has improved.
What are you feeling like you're shrinking these days?
It feels like it. Yeah.
They're bigger guys, no doubt.
Yeah. Girls, too.
That serves a 199, boys, and you talk about the evolution, Jim. You know, 10, 15 years ago, there were probably 10% of the tour that could pop a serve at 200 kilometres an hour. Now 90% of the guys on the tour can pop a serve at 200 plus.
Comfortable game here for the Spaniard, trying to get his mojo going here in this match. Wow, I mean, that is just like ping pong. These guys.
It is, and I think part of the reason Djokovic was just opening his shoulders and cracking every ball there was because it was a 40-love point, so a little less pressure maybe. But even so, boy, is he timing it well. Granollers gets on the board. He trails 2-1 in the second set.
Just a reminder that following the completion of this match, we're going to replay Rally for Relief, where many of the top players in the world got together for a bit of a hit and giggle to raise money for a great cause, all going to the flood disaster appeal. $1.8 million was raised, but well worth a look. That's up following this match.
First time.
Marian Vida on the right of your screen there is Novak's coach. Longtime coach. Todd Martin, the American, was helping out this time last year.
49.
I'm not so sure that partnership with Djokovic and Martin worked out too well. They were together for a little over a year, I believe. They separated in March last year, and it seemed like Novak was a little bit unsure of himself during that period. He sure seems a lot more confident and decisive.
Well, I think you're right, exactly, Jim, and I think the playing group as well felt that in the locker room, that there were a few things going on. They tried to change the serve a little bit, and Novak was, you know, he was having moments in matches where he was sure. Right here now, he's at purest. There's no doubt about that.
You know, so often, all the time actually, the relationship between coach and player is critical. It is like a marriage. You spend so much time with each other on the road, meals you have together. You really have to be in sync, and Todd Martin is a great guy. He's a very different guy than Novak. Todd's a very serious guy, as you'll see later on tonight. Novak is a court jester. So it was always a curious package for me, the two of them, Fitzy. I always thought that was an odd coupling.
That's why his backhand is so hard to attack, Djokovic.
Because it's good?
Djokovic leads 3 games to 1.
Well, there's on the bottom of your screen, Roger Rashid's man, Gael Monfils, came roaring back from 2-0. Raj, how was that match as a coach for you?
Well, it was good. It was very educational. First time Gael has ever come back from 2-0. So I was pretty relaxed at 2-0 and 5-3 against. I'll tell you what it does do, Jim and Fitzy, is it's a great learning tool for a player like Gael who's had to do that for the first time. What he got and was able to put into the bank for other future matches in Grand Slams and Davis Cup is that was a blessing today.
Well, the 16 seed Marty Fish was down 2-0 today as well against Victor Hanescu, and he came roaring back to win in 5. So a couple of the seeds looking at the end of the tournament, but pulled it back in.
You feel like you earn your dinner when you do that. Back from 2-0. Oh, well played. He did well there, Granollers. He's having to play at his outer limits here to stay with Djokovic.
30-15.
What a return off that first serve. Puts Granollers on the defensive. Then he threw in a drop shot. Not a great one in retrospect, but well played from the big Spanish player.
Olé. That was a great little bull move there. Pulled the cape.
It is such fantastic weight transference when Djokovic hits the ball too, and his footwork allows that. When he picks up very quickly with his eyes how deep the ball is going to be, and he adjusts, he gets back and transfers forward.
The other thing he does so well, Fitzy, is he hits the ball at the right height every time. He never lets the ball drop. He just gets it at the top of the bounce all the time and deals with it. That's an art in itself.
40-30.
A lot of players, you see them letting the ball drop too low and they don't quite get up to the ball at the right time, whereas Novak Djokovic gets up to the ball and executes at the right time almost every time, and that's why he can hit freely and so convincingly off the ground, and that's where he gets that extra pace from.
You show me a player who doesn't do that, Roger, I'll show you a player who hasn't reached his maximum potential. It's a basic in concept. It's hard for players to see differently than they have when they were juniors, but that's a big difference between the best players and the rest.
He misses that one, Djokovic, but still leads 3-2 in the second set.
Djokovic leads. Love 15.
Well, Djokovic yet to face a break point on serve. Serving up a break here, 3-2 in the second set. Wow. That was a great return.
Oh, it was a beauty.
Marcel cranked. He guessed right on that serve. Cranked a backhand.
He would at least feel he's going to get another shot here, wouldn't he?
You know, look how desperate he was, though. He hit such a good return. And Novak was in position. He knew that he was going to have to cover some court. And he overcooked it, getting back to the middle.
made a couple of errors here out of nowhere.
Well, strategically, Granollers needs to go more to the forehand of Djokovic. It's the weaker side between the two. If you had to pick, it's not a weak side. It's just a side that may give you more mistakes. And it's a little less versatile because you'll never see him hit a drop shot on the forehand side. So you don't have to worry about that element. Wow, here are a couple break points.
And that's the right shot selection too. Well played, because he got the return back very deep. He was presented with this. There's the depth, and he gets this return because of it, and that's the right shot to have a crack at. So he's got a chance here to get back into this second set.
Let's first one.
Oh, he didn't do it, Nelly. What a return. He gave himself a chance here, Granollers. Wonderful return. He just pushes the volley a little bit, and that's lethal against the Djokovic backhand. Almost better to give him a running forehand, which I wouldn't recommend on most occasions. But against this man, maybe. He's broken. Great effort from Granollers there. 3-all. Earlier.
3 games on.
It's a match in progress right there. That the winner of this match we're seeing now will play Karlovic or Dodig, which is a set apiece. 4-3. A couple of Croatians in battle. Karlovic, the 6'10". How big is that in meters?
It's big.
Yeah, he's the biggest guy on tour. That's what you need to know. Tops. Well, Granollers has gotten himself back in this set. 3 apiece.
He missed that forehand there, but you've got to love a few things. Granollers, the way he's competing, he's mentally ahead of the game. He's not getting himself down the way Novak started off. And also, you've got to remember also, this time last year, he took out Robin Soderling, who's a top 10 player, first round at the Aussie Open in 5 sets. So he's not afraid to have a go at the big boys.
I guess the problem for a guy ranked 42 in the world compared to number 3 is how long can he maintain the level? And he's played to a very high level, particularly in the last game. That's where he's peaked. But all of a sudden in these 2 points in the next game, he's dropped off again. So
I think the problem here is more surface comfort really than ranking. No, this is certainly not his favorite surface, Granollers. But to generally speak about Spanish players, you show me a Spanish player in the top 100, I'm showing you someone who A, knows how to measure game, and B, will compete to the bitter end. There's something cultural about that, the way those players are brought up, that certainly in the United States are trying to adopt kind of attitude. Good save there in the first break point. And I imagine down here in Australia, you guys are facing a little bit of the same challenge we are in the States, lacking a little bit of depth in the sport and trying to get more players into the top 100. You start with a player that A, understands how to manage his game or her game, and B, will fight to the death. You got a chance. There just don't seem to be any mentally soft Spanish players on tour. Just a bit outside it.
Not by much. It'd be a shame here from Ollier's point of view if he plays so break and then just loses his serve the next game. If he could hold here, we've got a ball game going.
It's a hammer. 201K out wide. That's a big, big serve.
And breaks again, Djokovic, and regains some control.
Djokovic.
So Djokovic here serving with the break in hand again. And there's the forehand. If you attack the forehand, I think the odds of you getting a mistake are certainly higher than if you attack his backhand. Coming up next after this first round encounter, the rally for relief, which was a huge success here at Rod Laver Arena yesterday. Raised in excess of $1.8 million for flood relief.
And that's ongoing. There's a website that you can go to donate. The entire fortnight here in the Australian Open, that website will be open. And any donations will be matched by QER, Queensland Energy Resources, I think, out of memory. So it's a huge opportunity to give a lift like the players did yesterday, given their time and energy and entertainment skills. No one was more entertaining than this man. Djokovic yesterday went to the photographer's pit, started taking photos of the players. Really hammed it up nicely. We're going to see a challenge here.
Right far sideline. Ball was called out.
Oh boy, that is, I hate to say it, because the lines people typically do a great job. That was a terrible call. Really bad.
Just go easy.
That was really bad. Usually the players are wrong on those, but that was a good challenge by Djokovic. 40-15.
He's in control here at 5-3.
Yahoo 7 is the official online broadcaster of the 2011 Australian Open. yahoo7.com.au/sport.
And tomorrow night, look what we have to look forward to. There's some history here between David Nalbandian and our own Leighton Hewitt that has big potential. No holds barred.
I sat through a few of those too, Fitzy, as coach. 10-8 in the fifth in 2005 here.
Love 15.
You're aging rather gracefully, Roger. I'm surprised then.
Well, look, I tell you what, it will be a beauty. So make sure you don't leave anywhere tomorrow night. Stay here on 7 because I know Rusty's up for that one. He's going to be up for it in a big way, and so too will David Nalbandian. Both playing well at the moment.
Well, stranger things have happened. He missed a backhand.
Jim, can I put something to you? Look, if I'm a player of Granollers ranking or someone of lesser ranking than someone like Djokovic, the biggest thing here, as Fitzy said, is trying to compete mentally for a long period of time. I'll tell you what I would do if I was coaching one of these players. I would make sure they're practicing with these guys as often as possible to be practicing the intensity of at that level.
15-30.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when these guys practice on the court, Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, or Murray, their level is so high that it's naturally exposed on the match court. And I think you've got to put yourself in that environment as much as you can as a lower ranked player to get the feeling of what it's like when you play them.
Absolutely. The feeling, the comfort level, and also just the knowledge of seeing what they do and how the ball comes off of their racket. Yeah, and a couple set points for Djokovic.
And he's a standout mover, this guy. And what Roger said a little earlier about him taking the ball at the right height, he never lets it drop too low. Therefore, the ball is back to the end of his opposition so quickly. He has them on the defensive. 2 set points. He's been impressive. 6-1, 6-3, Novak Djokovic.
More great action coming your way tomorrow during the day. We've got world number 2 Veras Vonareva, Rafael Nadal, the men's current number 1, and Australia's number 1 Sam Stosur all in action. That match with Stosur and that 17-year-old American wildcard should be a ripper. And then tomorrow night, 3 former world number 1s and the current world number 3. You'd be happy if that was your quarterfinal or semi-final lineup. It's an absolute ripper. As we return now to Rod Laver Arena, third set action just underway as we rejoin John and Jim.
15 love.
So an overrule there by Fergus Murphy as we get underway here in the third set. And talking about the Hewitt match tomorrow with Nalbandian, it's pretty rare these days to have a couple of players who really don't like each other. Most players get along pretty well. Those guys, there's some real animosity there, and I think that adds a little extra to the match tomorrow night, a little extra tension, a little extra motivation. So if you needed another reason to tune in, there you go. You're welcome. You know, these players travel around like a family around the circuit all year long.
Oh, great ball there.
Yeah, as personal as these matches can feel sometimes, players typically do a really nice job of separating the wins and the losses from their personal feelings to their opponents. But there are the occasional tiffs that bleed over, and Nalbandian and Hewitt, there's still a little scar tissue.
So Djokovic challenged to the call, right baseline, ball was called in.
So it's an all-or-nothing challenge for Djokovic. Stopping play there, convinced this ball is out, and the call should have been coming. Oh, I think that may have got in there.
That's a matter of millimeters.
So we've had a bad call, and that one was a great call, or a great no call.
Are you telling me there was no one when you played, Jim, that you dropped the shoulder at as you went past the net
Oh yeah,
post?
no, there are a couple. They're just they're not that many of them. Marcelo Rios, he didn't have a friend on tour. I wasn't going to be his only one, Fitz.
You were picking on the big guys, were you?
No, I was friends with all the big guys. How about you?
Just friendly with everybody, Jim.
You're a friendly kind of guy.
Oh, that backhand is just as good as it gets.
Here's our second set highlights, and this set a little bit more competitive than the first set. And a screeching passing shot by Djokovic. It's just a beauty. The backhand really doing the damage. Dropped his serve one time in this set with Novak, but in the end, just a little too much versatility here. Set point. Closing that out. And Spider Cam giving us a feeling of being on the court with these guys. Great new technology for this year's Open. Right here on Channel 7.
Jim, can you name me a rivalry of the top two players in the world that has been as friendly as the one that we see between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal?
No, not even close. Usually there's a lot of pain involved in the world's top two players taking candy from each other, taking those titles away from each other in the Grand Slam finals.
But I think proof that you can be a good guy and still be a great champion.
Sure you can.
No doubt.
Sure you can.
Just ask Pat Rafter.
Yeah, no question. But when I came on the tour, I played doubles with Pete Sampras and ate every meal with him. But the second that we started getting close to winning majors,
Oh, bad luck there, Granollers. He intentionally went for the drop volley. Just played it too fine. And the intention was probably right, but because of the speed of Djokovic, he probably went for a bit more than he normally would. He's focused too, isn't he?
One break point save with a nice body serve there. 199K. Right into the left hip there. Djokovic had him out of the way. Looked to be pained. Now a second serve.
He breaks through again, Djokovic. To love. His extreme vision of the Djokovic forehand, Jim.
Good intensity coming through. See, he never gets real full extension on that forehand the way he does on the backhand. Keeps the elbow bent all the way through. he brushes the forehand more than he does the backhand.
From A to B, it's not quite as quick usually, is it?
That's first serve.
A little more topspin.
Yep. It requires a little better timing than the backhand when the racket's a little bit flatter through the strike zone.
15 love.
He's got a big pocket for the backhand, a big range where he can really block the ball back if it comes hard at him. The forehand, because he's going from low to high, a lot more brush on the ball, it requires better timing. The strings see less of the ball on the forehand side.
Exactly, and that's why there's more mishits on his forehand than there is on the backhand side. Not that there's many.
No, but if you're going to go big to one side, you want to go with the forehand of Novak. There's some confident striking of the ball on the forehand there. Look at the acceleration on those shots. Boy, is he steady also, right? The legs doing the work, the torso just rotating, no up and down on the torso.
That's second serve.
Oh, that's a confident attempt.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense if you're steady with your legs and you're not kind of lifting up on a forehand. It's a much better strike zone, right? There are fewer things to go wrong. You're just rotating across the ball, not up to the ball. The way I can explain it to you is it'd be like a schoolgirl learning how to walk properly, putting a book on top of her head and walking straight and being prim and proper, or like a tennis player getting into a forehand position there, putting a book on his head and just rotating through the ball, not up and down. Does that make any sense? It's my first night on air in a while. Somewhere in the recesses of my mind it makes sense. I hope it does for you at home.
A little bit of luck. And he needs a fair bit more of that at this stage of the match. That was Marcel Granollers.
Granollers broke a string on that return of serve, which is why he pulled the ripcord and tried to get into the net with a slice forehand. So from the good luck department comes bad luck right behind it for Granollers. And pretty rare to see strings break these days. The players typically change their rackets with frequency when the balls are changed. And these co-poly strings that the players play with, they also don't break as often. Less friction between the strings. They don't really create ruts the way nylon or gut did.
Oh, fabulous. 3-love in the third. So Marcelo Granollers here serving. He's down 2 sets. He's under the pump and he's down a break again in the third. I'd say he would have thought to himself he's bad. Granollers just been class so far here. Djokovic has been super impressive.
Steady 15.
Some good focus and some good fight from the Spaniard here. Great defense on this one. Djokovic, he hangs there. Not an easy overhead by any means. That had a lot of hang time. Small professional effort by Granollers. He's not going to win this match. I don't think anyone believes that. I don't even think he believes that at this point. Down 2 set, 3 though. He's still running and gunning.
Game.
Nice hold by the Spaniard.
Djokovic.
So earlier in the night, with Jacobs fan forum, comments from the fans are welcome on Yahoo 7. And the question that was asked is, who is the most dangerous unseeded player in the tournament? There's a few of those around.
Some answers here. Hewitt, yeah, sure. Strykova. Those aren't bad. I would probably throw in Delpo too, huh? Del Potro.
Well, tough when you've got an unseeded past US Open champion.
Yeah. Who didn't play basically the entire year last year other than here. And we'll be underway tomorrow. His first match, he goes against the Israeli Dudi Sela. Get a lot of balls. And he is a grinder.
What does Djokovic have to do, Jim, to step up to that? I mean, he's ranked 3 in the world. He's been there for 4 years now. To win another slam.
Well, look, he was awfully close last year at the US Open. He took out Federer in the semifinals. But that's a tough turn to have to come back and play Rafa.
Let's first serve.
He'll get some more. He'll get some more majors. He just has to keep doing what he's doing. Keep improving his game and stay patient. Stay in the hunt. Because eventually, just with time, Federer is going to retire. It's not soon, but before Novak's done, for sure, Roger will be out of the sport. There could be some other obstacles in the way, some players we don't know about who might put their hand up and lead the conversation, but Novak is oh so close, and it could happen for him here again. What do you think?
Well, this is the best I've seen him play, I think, live anyway.
Game.
I mean, his form here is very confident. Looking good. Up 4-1.
Djokovic, 4 game.
Quickly whipping out to show court 2, and serving there is Fernando Verdasco, the 9th seed. Gee, he's done it very easily today over Rainer Schutler, a former Australian Open runner-up. Through in straight sets there, 6-1, 6-3, 6-2 as we rejoin in Rod Laver Arena, John and Jim.
One of the rare times Granollers has gotten the better of Djokovic in an extended baseline rally. And Novak was still chewing on his bar there, so he may have been distracted. Had a little energy bar that he was chomping on throughout that first point. Yeah, sweetness.
Yeah. Well, the speed of foot allows him to do that. So I know he's a great all-round player, but because he's in position so quickly and he's got the other guy stretching, he's got this as an alternative. So early. Great footwork.
Mentioned closer to the finish line. Djokovic just lines that two-hander up. There is nothing you can do about that because he can hit the drop shot off of that same backswing. Can take you cross court. It's such an effective shot. Great disguise. And now a couple breakpoint chances. Djokovic would have a chance to serve it out at that point.
And what Novak has done so well tonight, his depth of ball has been, he's in the back portion of the court, back meter of the court so often here today.
There. And Raj, he's gotten such great depth off the ball, but he's also really been all over any opportunities. Any short balls he's had a look at, he's been right on top of. And really just his opponent with his footwork and the pressure that it applies. So there it is, Fitz, and we're going to go back to school here and take a look at that great footwork from Djokovic. How he gets up early on the ball and takes time away from his opponent. Raj talked about getting to the top of the bounce, and that's what Novak does so well. That takes time away from his opponents, and it also gives him a higher percentage shot every time.
15
Tell you what, though, I think, as much as anything, impressed with his improvement in his serve. The technique is a lot better than 12 months ago.
That extra kink in the, as he went back, he went back, and then there was this extra kink in the, and he lost control of the racket head through the backswing, but now it's a lot stronger through there.
And he's only served one double fault for this match, so that's a distinct difference to the issues he had last year. So it's been an all-round impressive performance. Man, probably all mine.
Game 7 match, Djokovic. 6-1, 6-3, 6-1.
Not much you can say wrong about that performance from Djokovic. He's happy, as he would be. He's through. He's saved a lot of energy. And he is hitting the ball as crisply as I've ever seen him.
We have finished.
Roger, he played at the peak of his form today, didn't he?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He was, that's the cleanest I've seen him hit in an opening round of a major. I've never seen him come out that cleanly in the opening round of a major. And as I said, from the US Open last year, he was exceptional. He's just lifted his level, and he really sort of said, I've got to step up and join the top two and sit at their dinner table if I can.
Well, he looks pretty relaxed. He likes this arena. He's a past winner here, so he feels comfortable in Melbourne. And, gee, that form was impressive. He's about to talk to Jim Courier.
Well, Novak, first match here in this tournament, first tour match of the year for you. I know you came for the Hop Cup, but you sure look like you're in mid-season form. How do you feel about your match tonight?
Well, I definitely ended the 2010 season in a great style. Winning a Davis Cup for the first time for our country was a historical win, and really gave me a lot of confidence for start of 2011, and I was playing really well in Perth. Had a very short off season, but I managed to continue playing well, and of course just coming back to this court brings back the best memories that I had. It's the only Grand Slam I won, so it's great to be here playing well.
Only Grand Slam so far. I think you got a few in there. Well, first of all, now, congratulations on the Davis Cup. What was that like? I know it was a big moment for your country. What was it like for you personally?
Yeah, well, it meant a lot for the whole nation. It was definitely a historical win, and maybe a chance of the lifetime to win a Davis Cup title at home. God knows if we're going to have another chance, so we really wanted to use it. We were 1-2 down in the last day. It was fantastic crowd support. The whole nation was behind us, and the celebrations after that, I'll keep it for myself. Yeah.
Well, there was one celebration that we shared. We didn't get to go with you for the 2 days that you celebrated, but on the court after the match, everyone shaved their head, but it seems like your hair grows back faster than normal. Is that right? It's almost like, do you know what a chia pet is?
It's a special water that I drink. Yeah. I mean, it grew really fast, and the other guys aren't that lucky. And Tipsarevic usually has a very long hair, so I feel sorry for him. But he looks good as well. The worst one is Imanic, probably. He really looks bad with that short hair. But it's just an honest answer. That's all.
Well, you're an honest guy, and you're honestly through to the second round. Quick match tonight, a very good match. Novak Djokovic, ladies and gentlemen.
Plenty more coming your way tonight. Shortly, we're going to check in and see how Jelena Djokovic of Australia went in her match with Zvezda Ondroskova of the Czech Republic. We'll also see this man a little later in Rally for Relief. He's one of the real characters on the tour. Novak Djokovic safely through to the second round here of the Australian Open.